Hi everyone, it is the Bachelor Witch back at it again with another video. I can take this out because this isn't in anything. So, today I wanted to talk about Mercury Retrograde, okay? It's happening now. I believe, for about 3 weeks Mercury retrograde lasted, and there's about like a week or so of shadow period before and after, with the planet stationing direct and going into the retrograde, and then with it stationing direct, and then just turning the way that it normally does. So retrograde motion is actually when a planet appears to be going backwards, because whatever body is observing that planet, in this case Earth, you're looking from Earth at Mercury, we are passing it in the solar system and we're moving faster than it is. So once we sort of like come close to it and then pass it, then it kind of looks like it's spinning backwards. I didn't mean to confuse anybody, and I hope that makes sense, but yeah, that's pretty much what Mercury, or like retrograde motion, is. So Mercury retrograde, a lot of people say that it's just a pretty wild time. It can be. I just wanted to be like super clear. I have a note, hold on. But Mercury retrograde can really mess you up if you allow it and you're not already like somewhat put together. So I feel like a lot of times Mercury retrograde, it just brings attention to the things that it is that we need to fix. And it kind of wants to make sure that you get all of your ducks into order. And then it also does, rule communication and technology and large pieces of machinery and travel, stuff like that. So yeah, Mercury retrograde, is all it's doing is just saying like, hey, you know what? You have all of this stuff, these shenanigans that you need to get together, to be your best self, to be a better, greater individual. That's really all that it's about. And again, if you don't kind of have yourself together, that's where it tends to mess people up. So, like for me personally, I'm always like running out to like the bus or the train last minute. And I know if I keep doing that, I'm going to end up missing like a train, especially, or a bus, especially now that it's Mercury retrograde. So that's something that I need to work on. So all it is improvement. So one of the ways of getting through Mercury retrograde is, I would say, to have a notebook. Get a notebook and write down all of the things that kind of blow up in your face. Like if it's communication issues with whomever, like, write it down, analyze that situation. If it's you're like late running for your bus, okay, well, how can you have better time management? I believe it's things like that. And also just staying aware of things, and like how many times stuff happens, and not being super like passive, and really like kind of taking the reins and being aware of the things that you're doing in your life is going to make it easier for you to change things that are not serving you. So let us see. So yeah, I really think it's just like a great time for reflection. And let me see, I believe I might be off like by a couple of days with the Mercury retrograde, so I'll definitely have like for sure the dates down in the description box. So another way that you can definitely deal with Mercury retrograde, and like easing its effects, is with crystals. So I like to do crystal grids a lot, and I'm confined space-wise, so I don't do them anymore. But if you wanted to set up like a crystal grid to minimize the effects of Mercury retrograde, definitely do that. If you wanted to use like, some crystals for self-love, because a lot of times during Mercury retrograde, people become super duper like they turn a lot of attention to themselves inward, and then they're very I don't know, it's like people almost like doubt themselves, and they come off really hard on themselves is what I'm trying to say. So, you know, to help instill some self-love so that you can see like, hey, these are the things that I'm doing wrong, and here's how I can fix it, but not coming from that place of like a detrimental, judgy, I'm like a piece of shit type of area. I think that's, you know, it's rose quartz is a really good stone to have like in a crystal grid, or even if you just wanted to carry it on you, whether it's a piece of stone or you have some jewelry. Like I have bracelets, lots of bracelets, and like necklaces with all types of crystal jewelry. So yeah, I would suggest rose quartz. And then another thing too I would suggest is malachite. Malachite's kind of like a get stuff done type of stone. And if Mercury is saying, okay, well, here's all of these things that you have to fix, get it done. I also find that like crystals, not only from like the energy that they give off, but also being as a physical reminder for all of, you know, whatever your intention is. I think that, you know, crystal jewelry or whatever type of like anything, really any physical object that you use as an anchor for your intentions and like to remind you, I think that's also really helpful. A lot of people panic and they're like really in a tizzy, again, you know, about like Mercury retrograde. That's that's one of the transits that are really popular that people know and blame everything on, honestly. So to keep you calm, I would suggest getting some hematoid quartz. So quartz is an amplifier of everything, really anything that you program it to be. And then it's also got some hematite in there, which is pretty much iron. So iron is also really grounding. Hematite, by the way, which I do have a piece of that. So, you know, iron is very grounding. Hematoid quartz is also very grounding, and the quartz is going to amplify that grounding and calming nature of the iron. And then I also have some iron covered quartz. So when iron oxidizes, it might turn like a dusty brown, and then it might also go this beautiful red color. Most of my crystals that I have with me now I got from Village Silversmith, and then I'm also, so like, yeah, you could check them out. And then I also have an Etsy shop where I'm going to be putting up crystals as well, so give that a little look-see. Let me see. And so another stone, smoky quartz. I carry so much smoky quartz. I usually, if I carry it, it's like, you know, a point like this. This is maybe like 3.5, 4 inches long, and I carry it in my pockets. And I usually wear like man jeans because I'm kind of tall, and then the inseam is nice. And then also like at work, I'll get like pretty dusty and dirty and stuff like that. So like they're just kind of regular pants, but crystals can fit in my pockets, so it's lit. Anyways, yeah, I'll carry around smoky quartz, and smoky quartz is really cool to ease transitions, which this is also going to be useful since we're entering into eclipse season, and that's a whole big transformation in itself. So yeah, smoky quartz, definitely great. I'd say especially if you're working through like traumatic things, smoky quartz is just so great to definitely keep you calm and in tune and in a space to review all of the things that you need to. So another one that I like is can you see that? What is this? Snowflake obsidian. So I find obsidian to be super grounding, and I don't know, I've just been really gravitating towards snowflake obsidian, especially like usually in times of like change. yeah, that's a lot of times when I gravitate towards it. And then I also have this bracelet. It wraps around. And then it's also got lava beads in it, which are super, super cool. They're nice and grounding. And then you can also put essential oils into these. So if you have any type of jewelry that you can put essential oils in, or maybe you know, like dab some on your clothing or like in a scarf to smell, just to, you know, like remind you, you know, like of your intentions and to keep you grounded, stuff like that, I think is really cool. And also, not only do I just love crystals and like, you know, different types of stones, I've loved them since I was a kid, not only because like on a geological perspective they're absolutely fascinating with the way that they form, and like just like Earth is so amazing, y'all, but it's also a really good way to be able to have like your magical stuff in plain sight without people going, oh, what's that? You know what I mean? It's just like, you just be like, oh, well, it's just like a cute bracelet or whatever. So there is that. And then let me see, tiger's eye. So I've got another bracelet like the other one, but this one has tiger's eye on it, and I love tiger's eye. It's a good protective stone, and then it's also good for money. And I also feel that way about pyrite too, with it being protective and good for money as well. So, but yeah, those are pretty much my crystal suggestions for Mercury retrograde. So all in all, just to kind of wrap up this video, I would suggest you get down with some crystals if that's kind of your thing and what you do. Definitely whip them out, use them. And you don't have to stick to the suggestions that I said. You can pretty much use whichever crystals it is that you have that you like. And I would also say definitely journal. You know, however it is that you do that, and just, you know, practice mindfulness and be aware of all of the things that might need a little tweaking, a little fixing right now, so that you can definitely get onto that and your life might be a little bit easier. So I hope that helped, and I will see you guys all at the next one. Bye.